What's that?
Gigi's first time trying some wak kueh.
That's wak kueh.
Kueh in a bowl.
Nice? Nice ah! Wow! Test. Okay. Good morning. A warm welcome to you. Are you watching Great Speed Eats? And I'm here at Chinatown Complex. Talk about the stall behind me. There's that one over there. You see the long queues? It serves a very old school Singapore style CHEE CHEONG FUN. Now context, this is a Friday and it's about 8:30 or so. Now before I go on, I have to confess that I actually fast-tracked the review of this stall. The stall I was actually supposed to cover was a hawker stall selling Hong Kong style handmade steamed CHEE CHEONG FUN, which is the original style, which was invented in Guangzhou in the 1920s. But in Singapore at least, there has been so much media attention and hype over the current trend of handmade Hong Kong style CHEE CHEONG FUN stalls that have been popping up in Singapore over the past 5 to 10 years, that I felt that the local old school Singapore style of CHEE CHEONG FUN has been somewhat neglected as a result. Which is why I'm doing this stall instead, 多記馳名豬腸粉. But first, let me quickly show you what the Cantonese Hong Kong / Guangzhou style of CHEE CHEONG FUN looks like. Then you can see why the Singapore style is so different. Okay. You want char siu to eat? Just waiting, hang on. Rice roll time. Yeah, okay. This is good. Yeah.
Thank you.
So what I have over here, right here, there we go, is a char siu CHEE CHEONG FUN, or rather char siu chong fun, which is very common when it comes to Hong Kong and Guangzhou style of CHEE CHEONG FUN. This sort of CHEE CHEONG FUN in Singapore at least is usually found in dim sum restaurants. So try a bit. I got this. So I got some of the rice roll plus some of the char siu, and there we go. Looks pretty good, pretty awesome. Really. It's dressed in a liquidy, savory, sweet soy sauce with some onion oil. I see some spring onions on top, plus some sesame seeds. And of course there are char siu bits lah. And you can order it with all sorts of ingredients. Char siu, prawn, youtiao, dough fritters are the traditional ingredients lah. But these days you can get all sorts of ingredients lah. Pork liver, mushroom, century egg, scallop, and so on. You know, the rice rolls are freshly made on the spot, and they have a texture that, when done correctly, is soft and smooth with a little springiness in the texture. This version here, this version here is exactly that. Softer than the local style, but still with a little bit of springiness in it. Sometimes when it comes to chong fun like this, right, if you get the mixture wrong, if you get the technique wrong, very often the texture of the rice rolls gets very, very mushy. Okay, finished. Oh, by the way, this CHEE CHEONG FUN is from a new hawker stall which opened in 2021. Chef Leong's authentic hand-milled rice noodle rolls, and it's located within the same hawker center. I'll show you. There's a stall there. It's set up by a Hong Kong-born guy who worked as a dim sum and porridge chef at Raffles Hotel for 30 years. I'll probably do a review about them in a future vlog. But for now, back to Tochi. Now, there are a fair number of hawkers selling the local Singapore style of CHEE CHEONG FUN in Chinatown Complex, but Tochi gets the most crowd in the mornings. The stall was started in 1968 by Mr. Poon and his wife. Mr. Poon has since passed on, and the stall is now run by his 2 daughters. The business sold their wares street below, Keong Side Street, before shifting up to Chinatown Complex when it was built in 1981. They have incredibly short opening times, 7 AM to when the stock finishes, which is sometimes as early as 9:30 AM. And when you get your hands on a plate, you understand why they are so popular. So come, let's have a taste. 你好，你好。吃啊，鸡手饭盐3块，还有一个
这个2条我帮你减2.2块。
哦，OK，好了，
可以吗？
OK，可以，OK 啦，这个小手摇。 不是，我是一个人吃。
哦，那放多啊，你
对，
知道吗
可以，没问题。OK， 谢谢你啊。
好，谢谢。
Okay, I'm back from the store. So what I have here is the yam cake in CHEE CHEONG FUN with the usual Tim Cheong, CHEE CHEONG, and the chili sauce. And sprinkled and drizzled on top is the fragrant oil and the sesame seeds. Actually, how they do it is that once they chop it up, they put it on a plate, then they put the fragrant oil, which is basically sesame seed oil mixed with cooking oil, the soy sauce, then the CHEE CHEONG, black preserved bean sauce, and the chili sauce. Then they put some sesame seeds on top lah.
我攞佢俾你啊。
Okay, the other thing I got is basically their plain CHEE CHEONG FUN lah. It's basically CHEE CHEONG FUN with the soy sauce and the fragrant oil and the sesame seeds, but without the other sauces lah. Without the black sauce and without the chili sauce lah. I only know how to order it in Cantonese, Siao Sok Yao, basically. But firstly, let me explain that when CHEE CHEONG FUN first came to Singapore, back in the early 20th century lah, they started tweaking it for local tastes. So they began adding fermented bean sauces lah, either the black variety or the red variety. Usually it's the black variety lah, CHEE CHEONG. And they started doing this possibly in the 1940s or the 1950s or so. And it evolved such that it is served plain with no added ingredients. It's just the sauce and the rice rolls and that's it. So the flour texture was made firmer and bouncier so that the bite is fuller lah. That's what I suspect. So let's just try. So I've got some of the plain one. I'm going to add some black sauce and some chili sauce. I asked them to put the sauces on the side lah. But if you don't specify, right, they'll just pour the sauces all on top lah. Talk about the bounce. So every aspect of this plain dish is actually worthy of attention. If you notice at the store, right, the rice rolls are actually cut at an angle so that when you put it on the plate and put the sauces, right, they actually spread easily. And they have a texture which is thin yet springy and fairly smooth. But contrary to what you might think, right, the rice rolls are actually not stall made, and they're actually bought from a factory. It's like the best factory made CHEE CHEONG FUN ever. Apparently the factory owner has been friends with Mr. Poon for many decades. I suspect that the rice rolls are maybe of a higher grade, or that the stall holders only ordered enough to sell for the day. Because I've eaten here for many years and I've never seen them take out any leftovers. So what I suspect is that it is possibly made in the factory in the morning and then delivered straight away to the stall. Because very frequently, if I'm at Chinatown complex very early in the morning, I sometimes see the man delivering the rice rolls to the stall for the day. So if you look closely, the rice rolls are very unique because they also add green chives to their rice rolls. And you don't see this very often when it comes to local CHEE CHEONG FUN. Yeah, and the chives are nice because they add an extra dimension to the flavour. It's like a vegetable sweetness and maybe a herb fragrance to the taste. So in the past, the rice rolls used to have more than just green chives. It used to have green chives, plus it used to have ground up dried shrimp. But that has been phased out for many years because apparently it was too expensive to sell. But these days, as you can tell, right, you don't get the green chives every day. Sometimes you get the CHEE CHEONG FUN, right, and you don't get green chives at all. You don't see it, but you may actually taste it. There's a very faint flavour to it. And sometimes you do see it, sometimes you don't. But as you can tell, it's not like a lot. It's like specks here and there, but you do smell it. The fact that you do see it occasionally at the stall is really very, very good because normally you don't see it at all at any CHEE CHEONG FUN stall. So the other highlight are their sauces There are the sauces over there CHEE CHEONG, Kim Cheong, and that's the red chili sauce. So tasting the black fermented bean sauce. Sweet fermented bean flavour It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet like how quite a lot of stalls do it. So the sauces, right, they're actually factory made, but that's quite usual for CHEE CHEONG FUN stalls even in the 40s and 50s. It comes as a paste, and at the store they actually tailor it and customize it to how they want it to taste So from a paste, I know that they add water to it, so sort of like make it to a sauce. and then they add rock sugar to bring back the sweetness lah. Because water is added, it will dilute the flavor, so on and so forth. And then they have got some secret ingredients lah. Now, obviously, they won't say what it is. And the taste here, I mean, it's got a very good old school flavor. It has a very nice, strong fermented bean flavor lah. There's sesame as well. And the fact that you can taste the fermented bean flavor, right, means that they actually don't add too much sugar into the mix. The chili is also very unique. Wait, let me taste this. Gritty, fairly spicy. It's got a dried prawn flavor, I believe. And it's not sweet at all lah. And of course, they put sesame seeds on top lah. It comes lightly toasted, I believe. So there's a little bit of a crunch. Okay, they also serve yam cake, but it's not very memorable. At least I don't think so. Okay, I mean, it's alright lah, It's not got a lot of yam or anything. But it still tastes, quite decent, I guess. Yam cake is not really a highlight here. It's really all about the chee cheong fun. So the other dish you can get, and what a lot of people get, is basically just chee cheong fun with some soy sauce, fragrant oil, and sesame seeds. So as I say, most people just say xiao song miao. So this is, in a way, it is similar to the original Guangzhou style, but in a local context in a way. But instead of a gravy sauce, right, it's just seasoned as such lah. Okay, so tasting a bit. And this is a very nice, simple taste, wonderful. It's got sesame oil aroma, and the soy sauce is not too salty. It's a very gentle flavor. Apparently it's like of a high grade or something like that, I'm not sure. And so as a result, the taste of the rice roll actually shines through more. And also, you can actually taste a little bit of that green chai flavor as a result, because it is more naked. But as I stress, the flavor is very faint. It's also nice that this stall actually adds enough fragrant oil inside, so it's not like lacking in any oil or so. But it's not oily, it's okay. So what some people like to do is that basically like the chee cheong fun, but they don't like the sweet, right? Just order this with some chili sauce and that's it. So if I add some chili sauce, right, it basically looks like this lah. So I forgot to add that the reason why I like the sauces on the side is so that you can actually control how much of the sweet sauce and how much of the chili in every bite lah. It doesn't get too sweet, it doesn't get too spicy or savory, And I have to stress that the texture of the chee cheong fun here, right, is really quite outstanding lah. Because not many stalls can actually get it springy and bouncy. So what they do over here is that when they get the stock, right, before they serve it, they just steam it just a bit, that's it. And then they put it in a container to keep it warm. So that process of actually taking it out from the factory box or the packet, and actually putting it in the steamer, and actually putting it into the warmer, right, that process is very, very important, because it actually determines how soft your chee cheong fun is lah. And there are many stalls where they actually screw up that process, and it becomes too soft. Well, it's never too dry, it's usually too soft. And that's the main attraction of local chee cheong fun lah. That the cheong fun is actually springy and bouncy lah, as opposed to the Hong Kong Guangzhou style. Because they use the cloth method, right, which is the current craze. Sometimes the texture can be very, very delicate and soft, but sometimes to the point of mushy lah. If they do it wrong lah. Okay, finished. So that was a look at Toa Chee Cheong Fun, which serves some of the best Singapore-style chee cheong fun in Singapore. So would I travel half across Singapore to eat here? Unfortunately, it's probably not lah. Unless you are a real chee cheong fun fanatic. But if you're absolutely insistent on having the best of the best of the best, right, then this is probably the best that I have tasted lah, at least. And that's because they're very particular about their sauces and their rice rolls and their oils and so on lah. And even though the ingredients are from a factory, right, they do make the best of what they have, and they do make it to the best of their ability. But that said, I have to stress that the gains you get for actually making really good local style chee cheong fun, right, is actually rather minimal. I mean, like for example, the green chives, right? It's nice to have the green chives, but unfortunately, once you put the black fermented bean sauce and the chili sauce, right, the flavor tends to go lah. You know, you can't really taste it because the sauces are just so strong tasting lah, that it sort of like gets lost in the mix, you know. Which is why when you order it right, then you can actually taste the flavor of the green chives lah, you know. But even then, because the factory puts so little of it inside, right, that the flavor difference you do get, right, is very, very subtle, and you really need to concentrate in order to actually taste it. And that's why I'm assuming that most stalls do away with it lah, you know, and just go for the plain rice rolls lah, because the benefit is rather negligible lah. That's unfortunate lah. So unfortunately, it actually boils down to cost lah, in a way. If people were willing to pay more, you'd actually get nicer rice rolls with like ground dried shrimp and even more green chives, or at least just the green chives, but even more of that, right? Then it would make sense lah, you know. But I'm not too sure whether people will pay for it, see? You know, will you pay an extra $2 extra for it? I mean, you know, Chee Cheong Fun is Chee Cheong Fun, right? $2, $3. So that's the dilemma we are in right now, unfortunately. Also, as a side note, right, I haven't come across any other local style Chee Cheong Fun store where they are very, very particular about the dish. I just haven't, you know, for some reason. You know, I've been searching and searching, and the stores that I have tasted have been good, but not like wow, mind-blowing. This one is so far the best that I've tried so far. You know, if you know of any store which is as good or better than this, right, please let me know in the comment section below. I would love to try it. So thanks for watching another episode of Crispy Eats, where I eat through the whole of Singapore. If you liked this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment below, and turn on the notifications bell. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.